Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Prison Break. Last time on Prison Break we had Cell Test? Yeah, it was Cell Test. That's what the episode was called. Now what happened last episode? Veronica was following up on questioning Letitia, but then she was captured by the government goons, and then she was killed at the end of the episode. Michael tried to get Sucre on board, but it didn't work out. He had to test him to make sure he was good, and he was, but then he wanted out, so he actually has transferred to a different cell, and now Michael is left with someone from the psych ward named Haywire, who actually can't sleep. Like, he has a condition to where he can't sleep, so Michael can't work while he's sleeping. So, bit of a setback. Less of a setback, though, is we do now have John Abruzzi on our side. Now that he realizes that the only way to get the information from Michael about Fibonacci is to help him. And hopefully they can all get out, and Abruzzi will get the information he needs, and everything will work out well. However, we're 3 days behind. We can't be any days behind, and now Michael has a troublesome cellmate to deal with. So we will definitely have to see how this is all going to work out. But that was basically it. Good episode, and I'm curious to see where we're going this time. So we might as well get right into this episode of Prison Break. Here we go. Oh, this is Lincoln's cell. He's dank, dingy. I guess all cells are dank and dingy, but still. I guess he has a little sun. He has a little bit of light. What's going on? I've never seen the ins and outs of an electric chair. I wouldn't have even thought put a wet sponge on there too, to make sure that, you know, the current goes through. Well, I learned something today. He's cover the face too.
Let's get on with it.
Damn, he has nightmares about it. They get an electrical outlet? That's interesting. So he's just working anyway. Even with Haywire there.
Close, 40!
Oh, okay, he wasn't there. That's why he did it.
No. What are they, like some kind of a...
They're just tattoos. Candy time, Haywire.
Well, Michael can have a conversation with him.
They think I have schizoaffective disorder with bipolar tendencies.
You think you got it?
I am.
Get out of the way.
He throws it up immediately. Yeah. Cute poison. Oh. Did he make a failsafe? I mean, Michael has thought of everything, you know?
You better take care of your business, or I will take care of you.
I mean, couldn't you...
Have a nice day.
Couldn't you use Abruzzi to deal with Haywire? Although Michael probably wants it done a bit more clean. Okay. So, I assume the cute poison is a specific failsafe. Michael's thought of so many things, you know?
I wish there was some way I could, you know, pay you or something.
There is one thing you could do for me.
Haywire.
My cellmate.
Officer Bellick is in charge of cell transfers. You're gonna have to talk to him about that.
I tried, but he seems to think we're a good match.
Has he threatened you?
Who? Haywire or Bellick?
So, how's Sebastian?
It's a bad time to ask that.
The engagement's off.
Oh. Sorry.
You could at least say that like you mean.
Yeah, seriously. It's like, oh,
I do.
I'm sorry about that.
God, you always were a lousy liar.
Thank you. I didn't have a whole lot left.
You can thank me when I get you out of here.
When you get him out? Or when Michael gets him out? At least you got two people trying to get you out, man.
It's a pattern.
What did you say?
Your tattoo, it's a pattern.
You're seeing things.
Yeah, don't look too deep into it.
There's a reason I'm giving you more and more responsibility. When I retire, I'm recommending you to take my place.
Don't make me regret it.
Ngh.
All I'm
Warden
saying
Bellick.
is take another look at the Schofield situation. I trust your judgment.
Yes, sir.
Oh, shit. Warden Bellick, but he's... He's a little too tough, though.
She's with me now.
Fucking...
He's a joke, right?
Well, she made a decision, man. She decided she needed stability.
What, not...
Get that from you.
You're calm. And that's all you'll ever be.
And you're a fucking con man, you piece of shit. Ah. I getcha. Oh, that's so clever.
Oh, by the way, how's the foot?
Ooh! What the hell? Fucking Bellick. Fucking Bellick. It's just such a... I don't know. It's so strange because it's like, on the one hand, you kind of understand. You know, these are criminals. On the other hand, fucking, why Michael?
Hello?
Oh, she actually answered.
It's me. Baby, what the hell is going on?
What's the deal with you and Hector?
When were you gonna tell me?
Tell you what?
That Rita Saldana's been visiting you?
What the fuck?
Hector told me.
Hector told you. Hector told you. Of course he told you. Baby, that guy's a snake. He's a liar.
Yeah, that shit hasn't happened.
Yesterday I went to Teresa's house. And I saw her baby.
So what's this about? We're gonna get married in 16 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Hector says that if something goes wrong in there, that you can serve your full sentence.
I'm gonna be out in 16 months.
Aww. Yeah.
Well, what if something does happen, huh? Baby, I can't wait that long.
Fucking, this fuck.
Figured it'd take at least a half hour to get across town in this traffic. We're not gonna need nearly that much time.
Going through her house.
I've turned up quite a bit already.
Michael. Damn it. Ripping Michael's shirt.
He's got a maze on his skin. Yeah, he's got a maze on his skin.
He's gonna start putting things together.
Nick Savern with Project Justice.
I know who you are, but what are you doing here?
This guy looks kind of
My
familiar.
boss may not think Lincoln's case is worth looking into, but I do.
You Sebastian Stan looking motherfucker.
That's a quicker way to take care of the problem.
Just fucking kill him.
Fish, I gotta be back in.
As of right now, there is no in. Van Gogh over there is my new cellmate.
Well,
You're
yeah.
gonna do something about it, right? You're gonna get rid of him.
I'll do what's necessary.
You're my boy.
But you getting back in.
Well, let's just put it this way. Someone's gonna get hurt.
Alright. Welcome back, Sucre. We missed you.
Then he goes and robs a bank, discharging a gun in the process so that at sentencing he could maneuver his way to Fox River.
Yeah, they've already figured out.
Do it preemptively before anything rises up, bites any of us in the ass.
Now Michael might have to deal with that, too. Just putting the pieces together.
Where are you taking me?
Up. Up.
Nuts? Officer! I need an officer!
He's trying to get out.
Back off, Haywire!
Oh, look at his tattoos. It's a pathway.
Haywire, I said back off. You want a hot shot?
I'm telling you, look at his
Oh!
He's taking us all out!
Oof. He had to really fast track getting him out of there. Try to relax.
Back, man.
Good to have you back.
All right. There you go.
So, when do we get started?
Okay. Well, we're back on track, but we didn't need the cute poison then? Yeah, you gotta dump all that shit.
You know you're gonna get killed in here, right? If you're not careful.
I'll make you a bet.
Ugh.
When I get out of here alive, I'll take you to dinner.
This charm act could be exactly what's getting you into trouble out in the yard.
It's not it. Alright, well I got rid of that shit. But is that shit serving a purpose now?
You went to the...
I was freaking out trying to figure out what had happened. I saw the bloody pants in the tub. The cops, they busted in a minute after I got there.
Your fingerprints were all over the gun.
Bo.
Bo? Who's Bo?
Who's Bo?
He's the guy who arranged everything. Tried a few guns, see which one felt right. And that was the setup right there. One of those must have been the murder weapon. And that's how they got my fingerprints on the gun. Had to be.
All right, so this Bo, he coerces you into doing this all to clear a $90,000 debt.
He's gonna kill my son.
Okay.
A lot of I didn't do it, so those don't count for much.
If the chemicals can't eat through the iron pipes, how come they can't eat through the toothpaste too?
It's only when the chemicals are combined that they become a corrosive.
You study chemistry or something?
Not in school.
Well. So did he combine it with the toothpaste specifically?
There's a whole lot of real estate in between here and the outside walls. Infirmary's the closest building to those walls.
So he's working on the infirmary as well.
Is that the best you can do?
Have some faith, papi. Have some faith.
He's gonna get everyone singing. Oh, he's gonna get everyone yelling. Duh.
We're good.
Alright, they broke through. Okay. That's pretty good.
You okay?
That is a transfer request. Michael Schofield is getting shipped out tomorrow.
Oh shit. Is that it? Alright. Alrighty, that is episode 4. Interesting. Not exactly where I thought we were gonna go with that. Now, before we get started, like always, I'm going to be pulling up the cast list, mainly for the new lawyer guy. Wanted to see who plays him. Let me cell test, and then Q poison. Was that Frank Grillo? That's why he looks so familiar. Okay. Okay, I've seen him before. I think in the Captain America movies, yeah. That's why he looked familiar. Okay, so that's Nick Savarin. Okay. Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure I got that. Okay, that's episode 4. Again, not exactly where I thought we were gonna go with that, like how that was all going to work out. I'll be curious if Haywire comes back at any point. Oh, son of a bitch. Now the dog wants in. All right, hang on. Okay, so, not where I expected. I'll be curious if Haywire actually comes back at any point, because I don't know. Like, I feel like they maybe, I don't want to say like hyped him up too much, but they may have built him up a little bit too much, where it's like, okay, you just expect he would be a bigger deal, but he's kind of already gone, and now we have Sucre back. So, I mean, the bigger problem now is that Michael is going to be transferred tomorrow. So, and Michael doesn't even know that's coming. And, well, neither does Veronica, so they're really going to have to figure out how to deal with that, But, yeah, I mean, okay, so I don't know. I thought that he was going to have to use the cute poison on Haywire, but that almost didn't seem to be the case, Like, it makes you wonder, like, what the actual plan was, Because it seemed like he then used the purpose of using the poison, the purpose of making that was so that it would work on that, little drainage system in the infirmary, So, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea, but maybe I missed something. But it seemed like that stuff was being made for Haywire, but then it wasn't used on Haywire, and he just injured himself instead, So, so yeah, we can go ahead and hop into the notes. The first thing I wrote down is nightmares, which is interesting. Lincoln having nightmares about his execution. And again, I learned something from that, where I would never have thought that, they put a wet sponge on there too, to make sure, that enhances basically the electrical current going through the body. I honestly would never have thought of that. So yeah, I learned something today. We got Haywire and the pills. I did like at the beginning that Michael was just sort of talking to him like a guy, Like, I kind of did enjoy that. That is, like, he didn't really treat Haywire any differently. It's only after, Haywire got more and more interested in the tattoos that it became a problem, Now, obviously, it was a problem that Haywire was even there, because he didn't want to have to bust Haywire out, and he couldn't tell Haywire that things were going on, So, yeah. So that was interesting, and then, yeah, he had the pills, which, are supposed to keep him, dulled, but he doesn't take them at all, He just upchucks him every time he takes them, which is interesting, I would have honestly, like, I mean, I was thinking, like, when when it cut to Haywire trying to rip Michael's shirt open while he slept, like, and he was saying, like, get away from me, I was honestly thinking, like, maybe Michael will say, like, get away from me, or I will make sure you take those pills, Because, like, I feel like that could have been sort of a bargaining chip. Like, look, get away from me, or I will make sure that you don't, throw up those pills. So, but they never ended up doing that. But I thought that could be a thing that he could have done. Oh, well. And then, yeah, we had the whole thing with the cute poison, which, again, and I like how they say, the quick option versus the smart option. Michael is more in favor of the smart option, whereas John is more in favor of the quick one. It is interesting because, it's like, well, couldn't you just have Abruzzi just do that? Just, some accident happens. Now, probably what Michael is thinking is that would raise too much suspicion from... that would probably raise too much suspicion, especially in Bellick, And granted, Bellick is still suspicious after Sucre is retransferred back to Michael's cell, So, it is one of those, like, well, yes, it is it would be better, I guess there's less suspicion on Michael if he's just transferred away instead of John Abruzzi just killing him, But I did think that was interesting. It's like, well, you have John Abruzzi, why couldn't you just use him to deal with this? But he had to deal with it his own way, which was interesting. So I like that. And then, I mean, to kind of sort of wrap up, not wrap up, but to just keep going on with the specific Haywire stuff. The whole thing with him being obsessed with the tattoos is interesting because he never figured it out, He never figured it out. He figured out that it was a path, it was a maze, but he never figured out, he never connected the dots, basically, that it was a path out of, jail, And he just eventually equated it to a path to hell, which was interesting. So yeah, so I mean, that was very interesting, just that whole thing of the path. And yeah, as soon as he becomes obsessed with the tattoos, that's when, nobody can know of the tattoos. If there's any suspicion about the tattoos, that could be bad if anyone figures out what those tattoos are actually supposed to be, So, so yeah, I mean, that definitely became more and more of a problem until he, was drawing it all out and, and starting to put the pieces together. And so Michael had to just take immediate drastic action, And again, you do sort of wonder, it's like, okay, well, was the point of the chemical compound that Michael made, was the point that he was going to have Haywire take it or not? I'm kind of leaning on no, because especially when, Sucre says, like, why doesn't this thing eat through, why doesn't it eat through the toothpaste tube, And Michael says that it's only when they're combined that they become corrosive. So it's definitely, he takes Haywire's toothpaste and then fills it up with the one compound, then he has his toothpaste, and then he can combine them together, basically. Or maybe, the other one might not even be toothpaste, but just the two halves of this compound that he made in two separate things, so that he can carry them until eventually they are... well, yeah, I guess it's not really... He didn't use the toothpaste, because he did get two separate things, one from Abruzzi and then one from the toxic chemical center, basically. And so he stored them in those two things of toothpaste and then dropped them down. So yeah, that was never... So the whole thing of cube poison, it's honestly a red herring, because it makes you think, oh, he thought of a poison, basically, for... he thought of a poison for Haywire, but that's not the case. The poison, it was just a way of remembering the specific compounds he needed for this, concoction in order to create this corrosive material, So the cube poison is honestly just a way to throw off the audience, because it's just how Michael remembers this stuff as part of the plan. Now, the whole thing, I guess it's that the whole thing with getting rid of Haywire, he was trying to go to the warden and everything, and that just didn't work. And then when he realized that Haywire was just getting so obsessed with this, that's when he was like, okay, he needs to go right now. And that's how, he injured himself in order to get rid of Haywire. So I guess that's it, is that the poison, calling it cute poison is basically a misdirection, and it was never a poison intended for Haywire, So that's all really interesting. I like that they kind of throw you for a loop on that one. So really like it. In terms of the other stuff, again, we do have Bellick being trained as the next warden. I'll be curious if that's going to happen, because again, they're bringing this up on episode 4 of a 22 episode season. So I would imagine at some point the warden is going to retire and Bellick will take over, and that will, way overcomplicate things, So yeah. Let's see. We had the whole thing with Sucre and Mari Cruz, which was interesting. And yeah, just because I was thinking like, okay, well, he wasn't able to call her that one time, so is that why things are not good? But it's this Hector guy lying to her, saying it's like, oh, he's had some other girl visit him, and she's falling for that. So that's why Sucre is now back on board, because he knows he needs to get out of there and back to her as fast as he can, and if things go wrong, he could end up serving 10 years. It's still a bit of a wait for 16 months, for 16 months. So he's thinking, okay, Fish is going to get me out of here. I got to get out of here as fast as possible and get back to her, He's ready to risk everything to try to get back to her. So I like that. And it's just nice having Sucre back. He was such a good guy and a good friend that it's nice to have him fully on board. We also had Nick Saverin, which was interesting, having him help with the case with Veronica. It is interesting that they just sort of bring that up, which I mean, they bring it up like, okay, this Project Justice thing, maybe they can help, and the boss doesn't, he just doesn't want to help, but this Nick guy does. I would be interested to see if there's going to be like anything else, like, oh well, he's secretly working for the government or anything, but I don't think it's really that. They could reveal something about him, I don't know, but it's just an interesting sort of character to introduce. But it's good. It means Veronica does have an ally in her fight, because honestly, she has been kind of alone out there, and so it is good to have an ally, much like how Michael is acquiring his allies. So I like all that. They talked about it being a setup by Bo, and the whole thing of like, oh well, you got the fingerprints through coming and choosing a weapon early and stuff like that. So that's how the fingerprints were planted and everything. And it's also interesting that it wasn't actually the $90,000 debt that Lincoln needed to pay, or Lincoln needed to deal with, but it was this Bo guy who was threatening to kill LJ, which is interesting. So that's definitely a new aspect to this. So that's really interesting. The last two things I wrote down are Michael has busted through their cell wall, which is really good. It really is that's a good, I don't want to say that's a good first step, but it kind of is, honestly. Like, all of this that we've had over 4 episodes has been to take our first step into busting out. So that is this first step, but we do now have a problem where Michael Schofield will now be transferred out of Fox River, and so we're going to have to deal with that, which none of them know is coming, so it's going to be very difficult to deal with that, but we'll definitely have to see. But that's basically it. Again, really, really good episode, and I'll be curious to see where we're going next time. So with all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Prison Break reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit the notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.